This review has been made possible by Lexus of Naperville. Lexus of Naperville has the Lexus for you, whether it be new or used. Lexus of Naperville is located at 2480 Aurora Avenue in Naperville, Illinois, or you can visit their website at www.lexusofnaperville.com.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2018 Honda Clarity plug-in hybrid. Up front is a 1.5 liter inline-4 as well as a hybrid drive system. So I am super excited to be driving this here Honda Clarity for two main reasons. First of all, I think the Clarity is a really interesting vehicle, something that isn't really replicated by other manufacturers, and that's hard to find these days. But the second reason is that this is hands down the most important vehicle I will probably drive in 2021 and maybe ever. And that's specifically the 2018 model. And I'll explain why at the end of the video. Now, before we get on to the rest of the video, if you guys are interested in selling your car, please click the link in the description below. Cashforcars.com will buy your car with a salvage title, good title, running, non-running, whatever it is. Please go support the channel by clicking the link in the description below. You can get a fast and easy quote for free, and they will pick up your vehicle in less than 24 hours. But let's get back to that hybrid drive system. So this is what's called a plug-in hybrid, meaning at night or whenever you're not using the vehicle, you can actually plug it into the wall to charge the batteries that are on board. According to what I found online, the 1.5 liter inline-4 makes about 103 horsepower, as well as it has an AC motor that makes 181 horsepower, 232 foot-pounds of torque. And that all charges a 17 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery, giving this car a combined 212 horsepower and can run for 48 miles on just electricity. But when the gasoline engine is in use, it'll get 44 city, 40 on the highway. As well as charging numbers, it'll get to a full charge in 2.5 hours on a 240 volt system or 12 hours on a 120 volt system, which is just your regular wall outlet you'd find in your kitchen, bathroom, or bedroom. So if your home can support 240, if you can get a 240 plug installed, you can charge the car in just 2.5 hours. That's a lunch break for me. You know what I mean? So that is really nice. Now, the hybrid system itself is very complex. One of the most complex hybrid systems in the world. For the most part, this car is an electric vehicle with a 1.5 liter gasoline engine as a generator. So when you're low on electricity, the engine will kick in and generate more electricity for you. Really, if you think about it, this is pretty much an electric car with a safety net. However, if you floor it or if you're driving, you can actually engage the gasoline engine through a planetary gear to propulse the vehicle through space and time. It's a lot of gibberish. Basically, the nice thing is that it's a plug-in hybrid, but it's not a full electric vehicle. So if you get stuck, if you run out of electricity, you're not stranded like a lot of Tesla owners have had to find out. You have backup and you can fill it up whenever you want. As long as you have a full tank, you have a backup plan. And that's something really nice. This car is really for people that want to get into electric vehicles, but they're unsure yet. This is a perfect first electric vehicle that you should own because it drives like an electric car. Right now, I'm talking loud. I'm Italian and Irish and a little bit of German, so I'm a loud person. But just driving, you hear my equipment to the right of me rattling more than you hear the car. It's an electric car. It drives like an electric car. It feels like an electric car, but it doesn't have the range anxiety of an electric car. And I really like that. It does have a single gear transmission. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Feels fine. And the Clarity is front wheel drive. The Clarity is warmed up. We are out here on the test track. I just put it into sport. You're not going to hear anything, so you're probably going to hear all of my equipment shift around. But acceleration test, here we go. Wow, really struggling for grip. And you just heard the engine just kicked in. Under hard acceleration in sport mode, the engine will kick in, but it doesn't rev like a normal engine, which is kind of interesting. But this thing is not slow. I mean, 212 horsepower in a not huge sedan, not bad. So with all of that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of different gauges, which is a nice mix of digital and physical. On the left is my battery charge. In the center is sort of like a tachometer. It's my power meter. It's how much power I'm actually using, as well as when I let off the accelerator pedal, it actually dips down into charge because it actually uses the rolling resistance of the wheels to recharge your battery. That's really smart. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second with the paddle shifters. But on the right, I have my actual gasoline tank. And overall, I like the look of the gauges. I think they're very modern. I think they're cutting edge. I think they're new wave. They definitely make me feel like I'm driving something special, something EV, something out of the ordinary, and I absolutely love that aspect. That center gauge actually can be changed as well. I'm shifting through a couple different things that the Honda Clarity offers, which is fantastic. I love that Honda gives you a lot of information here in this center screen, and I'm showcasing that now. Really, really happy with that, and I think it's a great feature of the gauges. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my volume commands, information, as well as my scroll wheel, phone options, things like that. And on the right, I have my radar cruise control and lane keep assist, which is very, very nice. This is Honda's sensing system. They call it Honda Sensing, and that means blind spot monitoring, cross traffic alert, lane keep assist, and radar cruise sort of rolled up under one umbrella of a name, which is Honda Sensing, which most Hondas get now and is absolutely fantastic. I love their systems. However, on the back of the steering wheel, interestingly enough, you'll find paddle shifters. This is not for shifting. Like I said before, the transmission doesn't really have gears. This is actually for the recharging brakes. So when you let off the accelerator pedal, your car naturally slows down. But there's friction created when your car is slowing down, mechanical friction. The tires are fighting you. They're meshing with the road, and the road wants you to slow down, and there's friction. Well, the Clarity actually uses that friction to slowly recharge the battery. Now, if you coast down a hill, you're not going to go from 10% to 100%. But you can actually change the aggressiveness of this feature through these paddle shifters. Less is actually more. When you hit minus, you're actually giving it more regenerative braking. So actually, I'm going to do it all the way down. When I let off the gas, it actually feels like I'm on the brakes because the car is sucking up all of that sweet, sweet friction between the wheels and giving you a mile or two of extra charge. It's not going to be a lot, but it's going to be something, and that's really smart engineering from Honda. I like the overall look and feel of the steering wheel. I have this nice little piece of wood down at the bottom, and it feels nice in my hands. To the left of me, I have my outlet opener, my lane keep assist, traction control off, and my pre-collision warning. As well as on the door down below, I have my trunk release and fuel door. But on the door itself, I have my power windows, power locks, and power mirrors. As well as I get 3 different materials on the door. It has a very, very nice feel to it. And overall just looks very premium. The touring Honda CR-V is the same way. Very, very premium, very nice feeling. Moving into the center, I have 2 climate control vents and then my center screen. This is very, very typical of Honda. This is their sort of slightly older system you'll find in the HR-V or the Honda Civic, where the Honda Odyssey and Ridgeline, they have a little bit nicer of a system. However, I don't mind it. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, of course, as well as Honda Link. Unfortunately, I don't really have any fun apps or anything of that sort, but I like it overall. But speaking of the screen, we do have the backup camera, which is not good quality. However, it does do what other Hondas do, and they give you 3 different views, a sort of fisheye bubble view, straight back view, and a top-down view. I like that it gives you 3 different views. However, the camera quality itself is pretty low, and so it's not my favorite. Down below the center screen, we do have the climate controls, heated seats, dual zone, which is great, heated mirrors as well. Of course, recirculating, defrosters, all that stuff. Really, really nice, clean, and simple, and very easy to use. Then we have the center console itself. Center console's a little high up, and I sort of like that. It feels more like a command center. And I have 3 distinct buttons at the top. I have my Econ button. It's going to make the vehicle operate a little bit more efficiently. I have my Sport mode, and then I have my HV mode. Then I have the actual shifter itself. This is pretty typical of Honda. I don't mind it. Very easy to use. It's just push button. And then I have my power parking brake and my brake hold. The thing that I don't like about the center console is that I do have this lower shelf below the shifter, which is nice for storage, but the USB in for the radio is facing the other way. You're flying blind when trying to plug in your USB, which, let's be honest, we always plug the USB in wrong the first time anyway, so doing it blind doesn't help anyone. And that was a minor annoyance when I got into this car. But at the very bottom of the center console, we do have 2 cup holders, so we will do the big friggin' bottle test. And actually, I'm gonna give this car a pass. This bottle isn't going to fly anywhere, and it'll actually stay in place. So it's deep enough to give it the first ever Shooting Cars Big Friggin' Bottle Test pass. Then we have the center console, nothing in there, no chargers or anything of the sort. Now we gotta talk about the seats. Seats are nice and comfortable. They have this sort of dual material on them, and I really like the look and feel of it. Feels very nice. It's this sort of sandy color, and I like that a lot. Feels premium. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2018 Honda Clarity, and I do have a 12-volt outlet on the center console, which is nice, as well as 2 climate control vents. I have these nice little pockets. This is for your phone. I have just like a single slit pocket, fold down, pop open cup holders, which is very, very nice. The tan leather carries on back here with the interesting pattern inserts. I'm not really sure. It looks like a woven insert almost. And then what's interesting is that I thought that the rear seats just looked into the hatch or trunk. They don't. There's actually a window right there that looks into the trunk, that looks through the hatch. Very, very interesting. Overall, though, the back seat space is really, really good. My knees are not hitting the front seat, and I'm 5'11". Similarly, head not hitting the headliner. This is a comfortable back seat to be in. I would say similar to the Civic, probably a little bit better than the Civic, in all honesty. Comfortable and really, really good. However, if you're looking for a high mile per gallon vehicle with a good back seat, I'd also look at the Honda Insight. It's not what it used to be, and I just reviewed a 2021, which I'll leave at the end of the video. But with all of that being said, let's go check out the trunk. All right, so we're around the back of the 2018 Honda Clarity, and something I wanted to point out is the actual remote. So lock and unlock, obviously, trunk release, which we'll be using right there. But then I also have this sort of little air conditioning button. This will just turn on the air conditioning, which is super, super nice. And then if we walk up here, button will actually pop. This is your charger for the vehicle. So super nice. You could pop that from the key fob. Now, coming around here to the back, it looks like it would be a hatchback, but it's actually just a trunk. Now, of course, this is a used car, so nothing really too crazy back here. These are all, Clarity floor mats. You get these nice rubberized floor mats if you buy from Lexus. This is your charger. So it comes in this nice bag, some power cord options, things like that. But the space back here is pretty decent. It's actually taller than I expected. However, looks very nice, functions really well, and of course, it's a pretty big trunk. I would say on par, if not better than the Civic in terms of size. Now we gotta talk about the looks. This is Moonlit Forest Pearl, and I think it's an absolutely fabulous, absolutely delicious color from Honda. I think it looks really good, and in a world of gray, black, white, and silver cars, I think this really stands out without being the center of attention. If you see it in traffic, it's more of a delight to see, oh, that's different, rather than, so I like that aspect of it a lot. However, it does have the really cool, partially covered rear tire like the old Honda Insights used to have. And I think it's a good looking car. I think it's different enough which the modern Honda Insight is not different at all. This actually looks interesting and looks different than the rest of Honda's lineup, and I can appreciate that in a vehicle. Speaking of exteriors, if you are legally required to run a front plate on your vehicle in the state or country that you live in, but you think it's too ugly, then click the link in the description below and get yourself a con plate. The con plate holder is a suction cup holder for your license plate that goes on the inside of your windshield. This means you can remain legal when driving around, but for pictures, for shows, it's easily removable from the windshield, so the front of your car looks its best. Click the link in the description below, get your own con plate, and keep your car looking good. So now I have two more final talking points. First of all is the fact that I think this car is very, very interesting and very unique. There is no direct Toyota competitor to this vehicle. Yes, they have plug-in hybrids, but the Clarity is actually available in 3 different flavors. We have the plug-in hybrid, which is this. This is their, if you want to call it mass-produced Clarity, this is it. Then they do have a fully electric Clarity. And then in some parts of the country, some parts of the world, not this part of the country, I believe California, they actually get a hydrogen fuel cell Honda Clarity, which I think is awesome, and I'm glad that Honda is pushing that technology. Whether it works or not, at least it'll get explored through the Honda Clarity. But now my final talking point. Why is this the most important car that I will review this year? The simple answer is the fact that I reviewed one of these cars back in 2019, specifically a 2018 Honda Clarity. However, if you search my YouTube channel, you will find that that video is nowhere to be found. And if you notice at the beginning of the video, this review had an odd number, had an R at the end, which in my system means revised. I have driven and filmed and fully reviewed a 2018 Honda Clarity before. But in that video, I got a lot of information wrong. I didn't fully understand the Honda Clarity. And while I can't say I fully understand every nook and cranny of this car, I definitely understand it a lot more. And when I posted that old review of that old Honda Clarity, I got a lot of negative comments immediately. And in this instance, it was well warranted. I messed up. I posted false information. I thought I knew how it worked, and I didn't. And unfortunately, that video ended a relationship with a company for me because I wasn't to be taken seriously. And why would I have been? I drove their car and got it all wrong. I was a thoroughbred jabroni that day. I didn't do my research. And so I promptly took that video down. Almost immediately. It was up for maybe a day or two, and it was immediately taken down. And ever since then, I have had a blemish on my reputation. No one really knew about it. No one really remembered it, but I knew. I knew that going through my old videos, there was one video that I was deeply, deeply ashamed of. And so now, that is why this is the most important car I'll drive this year, because I can finally erase that blemish from my track record. I have done the Honda Clarity justice. I have righted my wrongs. And the reason I bring it up is because I want you guys to know that I take the truth, I take facts, and I take honesty very, very seriously on my channel. My car reviews should be equivalent to sitting down and having a conversation with me. I hope that if I ever meet you one day, or if I know you personally, and you come up to me and say, hey, what do you think about the Honda Clarity? I would say it's a very interesting vehicle. I like that they do the hydrogen cell. It feels nice, has a very complex drive system. I would give you the same information. So that's very, very important to me. And so I'm very, very thankful. I'm very glad that I finally got to re-review a 2018 Honda Clarity. And this definitely goes to show I've messed up in the past. I'll probably mess up in the future, but I will try my hardest to right those wrongs, and honesty will prevail. I'm very, very thankful to be behind the wheel of this car again. And that was all thanks to Lexus of Naperville. Lexus of Naperville has a huge selection of vehicles, not only Hondas, not only Lexuses, but I've driven Porsches from them, Mercedes, Teslas, lots and lots of cool, interesting, high-end vehicles. So if you're looking for a new vehicle, please go check out Lexus of Naperville. Their information is up on the screen, as well as linked in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.